Welcome to the Saturday Morning Sports Blitz. We cover what's happening in our local area when it comes to sports. We'll discuss last night's high school football games. Then we take a deep dive into today's upcoming college football games. And now it's the Saturday Morning Sports Blitz with Randy and Clifford.
Good morning and welcome to all of you on this first weekend of fall weather on the great Gulf Coast.
And boy, does it feel good out there.
Oh, man, so glad you're with us.
Yeah.
Right here on the Saturday Morning Sports Blitz.
That's right.
His name is Randy Williams. My name is Clifford Early. And over the next hour, we're going to do our best to bring you the latest and best in regional, high school, college, and pro sports. Of course, it is college football season.
It is.
And
in full swing,
we'll
too.
Focus mostly on prep football for most of the rest of the year.
Yep. And it is football season, and we got a lot of high school games last night, some really, really good games, and we look forward to breaking those down for you.
Some senior night games, a bunch of district matchups. If you would like to call in while we have our line open, it's going to be that area code 850-484-1223. That 850 number again is 484-1223.
Yeah, give us a call. We'd love to hear from you.
Today it is homecoming on the campus of UWF. They're 5-0, ranked to the top 4 in all the polls nationally. Coming into town is Chewin. What is that again? Chow and the Hawks. So 2-3. They got routed by Valdosta. So that game at 4 should be a lot of fun at Penn Air Field on campus. The festivities start with the tailgating sometime after 1, and that's going to be a lot of fun. Of course, you can catch Will Kennedy with a call on the radio this afternoon.
We have a great show for you today. Vance Smith, the head coach of Pace High School, got a win last night. We'll talk to him and break down some of the high school football games going on around the area. We'll break that down for you. Also, Cliff, we have Ask the Experts, and a great expert today. The voice of the Florida Gators, Sean Kelly, is going to join us, and we'll ask him a bunch of questions today about what's going on with the Gators.
And I guess he's going to be live. He's going to be on the telephone with us, live from Texas A&M. As they play the Aggies. We've also got Dante Shepard on with us today. Coach Dante, of course, of Do Work Sports.
Yep.
You can catch Do Work Sports on his Facebook page. It is just loaded with high school stuff. You're going to love it. So he'll be on set with us with Coach Vance Smith as we break down the high school games.
Yeah.
And then we're going to bring them back on the set with us as we break down some of the local teams in college football. And then we'll go over our top 25 pick 'em.
It's going to be a great show. Again, give us a call, 850-484-1223. We'd love to talk to you. And you're listening and watching the Saturday Morning Sports Blitz right here. We're coming right back.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. How to safely build a fire, and how to control the flames. But I can only teach wildfire prevention. Only you can prevent wildfires.
Saturday Morning Sports Blitz is proudly sponsored by Do Work Sports.
My name is Gary Parker. I served as a Cavalry Scout and a military policeman in the United States Army for 20 years. When I was a Cavalry Scout, we had a young lieutenant that came in, great guy, but he moved on, got promoted to lieutenant colonel, went on to Afghanistan, and I was able to keep in contact. And I'd wake up one morning, go on social media, and there's that post you don't want to see. For whatever reason, he took his own life. Nobody knows why he did it. And if there's something that we could have done to prevent it from happening, safe gun storage can prevent gun suicide because it's that added step to get to your firearm that might just give somebody a moment of reflection on what they're doing. As a veteran, we need to be ambassadors to people that don't have the knowledge that we have. Anytime you're not storing a weapon safely, you're putting yourself and your community at risk. Service never stops.
Saturday Morning Sports Blitz is proudly sponsored by Damien's Lemonade at the Drop-In.
Welcome back to the Saturday Morning Sports Blitz. Again, our call-in number is 850-484-1223. Want to thank Frozen Lemonade, Frozen Damien's Lemonade. I don't know if y'all ever had the Frozen Damien's Lemonade.
Who has it around
back
here?
in the 80s and 90s. I know the staff here are huge fans. There it is right there, downtown at the corner of Balin and Cervantes. They've got sandwiches and wings in addition to Damien's Frozen Lemonade. Excited to have you here, Coach.
Oh,
Vance.
absolutely. And what makes it even better is he comes in on a Saturday morning after a great win last night. At Tate. So a great game. Can you break down some of the game for us?
Well, we came out, started fast. We scored on the second play of the game. Brooks Washington, our quarterback, broke a big run.
Sweet feet.
And then defense played great all night. Really, that's the theme of the night. Those guys and our defensive coaches had a great plan. Because Tate's a good football team, and played really, really well on defense. Special teams were big to us. Our kicker, Caleb Nelson, had 3 big field goals there. Offensively, I'm the offensive line coach and the offensive coordinator, and so I'm frustrated just by how we played offensively. But as a head coach, you got to be happy the way that our defense and special teams operated, and so it was a big night for us.
Didn't really know what was going to happen. Both teams 5-1 when you went into Tate last night, and like you said, almost untouched. The second play of the game, Brooks Washington nearly untouched, maybe a shoelace scrape as he broke it.
Yeah, did a great job.
What a great run.
Yep.
Well, Coach, how y'all are dealing with? You've depended on Brooks a lot this year, but you had Mikael Williams and you've had Strickenberger get some snaps. Like, how y'all adjusting with the injuries? Everybody's a little beat up this year at the end of the year.
Yeah, we just had to have the next man up mentality. Guys have had to step up. Tag's done a great job for us. But we really miss Mikael. I'm going to be really happy when I see him out there again on Friday night. But Brooks has done a great job filling that void a little bit. We depended on him more than we did the first half of the season when Mikael was healthy. So I think it's going to make us a better football team in the long run because there's been guys that have had to step up. But yeah, offensive line-wise, we're banged up. Really as a football team, we're banged up right now. But that's part of football. And so
you guys came out of the gate pretty strong last night, ready to go. I'm assuming that reflects a really good week of practice.
Yeah, we had a good week of practice. High school kids, you never know in terms of motivation. But our kids, man, this group I'm so proud of them. They come out and they go to work, and it's been that way really all year.
Right.
Three big games left. You're at Pine Forest, and then you've got Navarre at home, and finish with Milton as well. Yep. Hoping to get Mikael Williams back. Of course, that lower body injury is leg injury, so.
Right.
Let's talk about the Milton rivalry. I mean, the last several years, it's been difficult for Milton. They've not done well. This is your first season in. This is Ronnie Douglas's first season in at Milton. That's going to be a heck of a game and probably a packed house for that game.
Yeah, it's on Halloween this year. I knew Coach Ronnie Douglas was going to do a great job and get those guys going in the right direction. They've always had the talent.
Yeah.
It's just been a few key pieces missing here or there. But offensively, he does a great job, or they do a great job on defense also. Coach Ronnie's a defensive guy. So I knew they were going to be better, but yeah, looking forward to that game.
Yeah, should be a good one.
Next opponent up was at Pine Forest. They had a game last night. They were at Washington. It was senior night for Booker T. It was close at first. But Pine Forest started to pull away. Mm-hmm. Right, there was a blocked punt, right?
Yeah.
Some special teams gaffes, but they were able to take advantage of it.
Well, one of the biggest things, Cliff, is Pine Forest only scored 34 points in the first 6 games, and last night they scored 32. Figured it out on offense. What they did is they just going to get the ball into their best players' hands. KT Randall, Charson Floyd, they went Wildcat versus the Wildcats, and it worked. And so they ended up winning that game 32-9, and Washington couldn't get a score on the board. They haven't been able to figure it out in their district games. They went down to Escambia. They went down to Pine Forest. And they're going to have to figure it out for the next couple weeks.
There are a couple nice throws as well, though. That quarterback, he had that nice fade to the corner that the wide receiver went up for. Knocked the wind out of him. One of those where he went up higher than you can imagine and came down flat. And he was on the ground for about 3 minutes, walked away, lost the wind. And then another, he threaded another one into the end zone with nice throws. It looked good.
Yeah, and Coach, y'all have Pine Forest next week. The fact that they got it going, got the ball rolling this week, what do you think about that,
Well,
Coach?
I'm glad they figured it out now right before we play. But Coach Mack, you knew he was going to do a great job. They're very talented on defense. They're talented on offense also. I think they just got to find probably the best system that fits their kids, and it sounds like they've done that. So credit to those coaches for keeping those guys going, because I know they had a rough stretch there in the beginning. But it's going to be a physical game. You know that. Pine Forest is always physical because they've got tough kids, hard-nosed kids, and so it's going to be a tough matchup for us.
Yeah, I think it's been very different this year that you've been a tale of two halves. You had some people who scheduled their tougher games in the first half of the season, and they're a little lighter on the back end, and then vice versa with teams. So it's kind of hard to tell who's better than the other team. Week by week, it's going to be competition.
A week by week, a tale of two halves. Well, a tale of two halves in one of the games last night that went to overtime. West Florida and Bay from Panama City. It was ho-hum, 7-0 at the first quarter.
Yeah.
Kind of pedestrian, 3-point lead, 10-7 at halftime. But both teams together put up over 40 points in the third, and then they went in overtime.
Yeah, definitely went in overtime. Xavier Finley, Charles Benson, there's some studs. They run the football really well. Got West Florida up really quick, but Bay stormed, y'all, and they tied it up. In overtime, Bay scores on the first play. They get their extra point.
The sixth made kick for their kicker.
Yeah,
right?
Typical Jeremy Brown coach football team. I mean, they are.
And you're familiar with that up in Panama City area.
And West Florida could have tied it with the sixth made kick for their kicker, but they went for two to win it.
Yeah, and the quarterback, Xavier Finley, slipped on a play. Really sucks that happens. Rather see the play be executed and they get a stop, but he slips in the backfield and Bay wins. Heartbreaker for them.
Yeah, that absolutely was.
Last game I know people want to talk about, we've got film for, is the battle for the old beat-up wash tub. One of the oldest rivalries in Florida, really.
Yeah, ye old wash boiler.
The ye old wash boiler. And that was PHS at Escambia. Of course, Escambia lost their first 3-4 games, but now with 2 under their belt, coming in looking for the 3rd win in a row at home for Mike Bennett.
Man, Billy Dunn is really starting to get it. Billy Dunn's former guy from Pace area. You played back when you were coaching there as well. And he's starting to get it together. 4 touchdowns thrown last night. Him and Kayshawn Downs, I like to call him Cash Money because, man, he is money. 3 touchdowns thrown to him last night. And their defense, I mean, their front line is ferocious. Adrian Battle, they call him Buck. And, man, he is a tough guy. They really dominated PHS. They couldn't figure it out.
Another interception. It was a pick 6.
Yeah.
And that was just part of the scoring for Escambia.
Yeah, the Jalen Benjamin picked it off.
That's right.
Yeah.
Another game, Catholic had a big game against Walton, and that was a district game as well. They rolled again 24-7. Let's see what else. Crestview, remember they were one of the best 1-3 teams we'd ever seen before, and now they moved to 2-3 or 3-3 perhaps.
Yeah, what a shutout.
A shutout. They pitched a shutout over Navarre. Navarre's still looking for their first win. Jay with a win over Northview. Mosley, Niceville. Now that was
a great game. That was at Niceville, and that was a great game. Went to overtime, and
Dolphins came out on top.
Tommy Joe and them were able to pull out the victory. So
42-36.
Yeah.
Mosley's a force to be reckoned with. Choctaw, speaking of forces to be reckoned with, probably the best team in the area, would you say, Coach Vance Smith?
Yeah, they're right there. They're up there defensively. I mean, me and Dante were just talking about their stats defensively. They've been lights out.
And I'd love to hear Randy try to pronounce their quarterback's name, but I don't think he can. I don't think he can do it.
Say it 3 times fast.
Not even going to try.
Can you do it?
Zabtakis.
There you go. A big win. Choctaw goes to 7-0. A rout of Rickards, 31-zip. Let's see. Fort Walton Beats got another win over Arnold. Maybe their first of the year. Let's see. South Walton romped Freeport 50-9.
Wow.
Bluntstown, a force to be reckoned with, 74-zip over Dixie County. Some Alabama scores. The PHS Thursday night. They're going to Fairhope to take on Phillip Rivers, NFL Hall of Famer perhaps one day
Absolutely,
with the Chargers,
No doubt.
even without a ring, right? A Super Bowl win. But they won last night. That's St. Michael's Catholic High School of Fairhope, and they go to 6-1 with a 46-37 win over Mobile Christensen. UMS Wright, their first loss of the year. They got beat bad by Williamson. And then Fairhope with a big win. No, they lost. So their first loss of the year, Mary G. Montgomery with the win there, 28-21.
And don't forget the Thursday night game, Milton and Gulf Breeze. Gulf Breeze and Navarre, both the two teams in the south end of Santa Rosa County, both are struggling, and they've historically had good programs. Just this year has been a little bit of a struggle, but Milton went in and laid an egg on them.
And
So
don't-
Yeah, they
42
did.
nothing,
They took
so.
them out behind the woodshed, 42-0.
And don't forget the perfection that's going down in Baker right now.
Right.
Matt
Oh,
Bronson, man.
absolutely.
We never can count Matt Bronson out. Matt Bronson does have the recipe. They're still undefeated.
Yep.
They win
They routed
49-6.
49-6. And Shipley stayed undefeated too with a win over Port St. Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's getting exciting, high school football right now.
Yep.
Everybody's getting better. Hopefully the injuries will get healed up and you can go full strength at least the last couple of games of the season for your team. So
Yep.
it's going to be a tough game. Is it at Milton or at Pace this year?
They play. Yeah,
It's
at
at
Pace.
Milton.
It's at
Oh,
Pace.
it's at Pace.
Is that
Okay.
Pace?
Home field
It's
advantage?
gonna be a real one.
Oh, we'll see. Yeah.
Fireworks
Gotta be
going
good for
off.
3 points at least.
That's exactly
Speaking
right.
of threes,
Couple
3
blocks
more
away,
weeks left in the season, right?
That's right.
And
That's
then
right.
Halloween's the last night of the regular season. Of course, the playoffs go all through November. If you're lucky enough to get to December, then you're playing some good football.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's some really good teams in our area right now. It's nice to see, this stuff happening for the local high school teams. Local, I mean, Scambia, Santa Rosa County. So it's exciting.
We got to get ready for Sean Kelly, who's going to talk to us
Yeah.
live from Texas A&M's campus in College Station, Texas. Coach Smith, Coach Dante Shepard, I hope y'all can stick around with us, and we'll talk about some of the games that everybody is looking forward to with some of the bigger teams in the Southeast. Then we'll also do a pick-em of the top 25.
Let's remind them who Sean Kelly is. Sean is the voice of the Florida Gators, and he joins us next right here.
Achieving my goals as an adult was challenging without a high school diploma. With the help of an adult education center, I finished my high school diploma and it changed my life.
This yearbook is a testament to your accomplishments and how they have impacted all of us.
Getting my high school diploma made me feel like I can do anything. Now I can help the kids in my community achieve their dreams.
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you.
Saturday Morning Sports Blitz is proudly sponsored by Damien's Lemonade at the Drop-In.
Saturday Morning Sports Blitz is proudly sponsored by Who Works Sports.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakimick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. My service never stops.
All right, welcome back to the Saturday Morning Sports Blitz right here on Blab TV, and we appreciate you joining us here this morning. Again, feel free to give us a call anytime during the show. We'd love to hear from you to get your thoughts on high school or college football. Now, we were supposed to be joined by Sean Kelly, the voice of the Florida Gators, but he is en route.
He told us he would
heading over to be, so there might be some issues there with cell phones, but we're going to keep trying. So we're going to kind of flip-flop the pigskin with the Ask the Experts and kind of break down some of the games going on that you have interest in.
Of course, one team, Miami, is not playing. They've got a bye this week, right? They dominated and then survived Florida State last week, 29-22. Next week, they have a former guest of our show. They're going to be playing your U of L Cardinals, right? And Jeff Brom, the head coach
in Miami. That's going to be a big challenge for Louisville against Miami. I mean, I saw early on, I knew Miami was going to look, they looked good. And quarterback play, once he got comfortable, with Miami and their offensive plays, Carson Beck's doing a heck of a job. So it's going to be a challenge.
Still might end up in the Heisman conversation if we have the tale of two halves like we were talking about, right? Their offense is just a top 50 offense right now, but it's getting better, and they're getting more confident. It's the defense, though. They're top 10 in havoc rate, whatever that means, but it makes sense, right? Because you've got Bain, and you've got that other defensive end, and they're just making things difficult. I know it was hard for Florida State. They just pushed them into one-dimensional last week. So we'll see what they can do next week with Louisville coming to Hard Rock as well. Next game we have is huge, and we hope to talk to Sean Kelly. He's in a vehicle right now traveling inside of College Station, Texas, and hope we get to catch up with him today if it works out. This is a huge, huge game. Florida, of course, DJ Lagway, they had renamed
Looked good.
Throwing interceptions is doing the Lagway, and he didn't do a lot of the Lagway last week. He did look good.
Yeah, he did. He looked really good, and I predicted Florida to win that game because the environment. I wasn't 100% convinced yet on the quarterback play at Texas, and that proved to be true. That was not Arch Manning's best game.
Well, let me ask Coach Smith real quick. This is the end of a tough stretch for Florida. They had the toughest schedule of the country last year. Of course, in the SEC, another tough schedule this year. But as far as being able to, the CFP expanding to 12 teams, could this be the year that a three-loss team gets into the playoff? You got SEC and Notre Dame as possibilities.
Yeah, I think anything's possible. With the rosters now, there's not a lot of depth. And so, some teams may start out strong and then they get banged up. And then now it's not like it used to be where you got 5 stars backing up starters anymore. Those guys are went somewhere else.
That's right.
So anything can happen.
Yeah, momentum swing. We're looking for momentum swings right this week in this game. The defense, both defenses are pretty stout. Texas A&M did really well in the transfer portal with their NIL and oil money. And so the DL and the AL, they've got Outland Trophy watch list guys all over the offensive line as well. Wonder if Florida their defense is going to be able to contain Marcel Reed, that running back Le'Veon Moss, which is also on a watch list as well. Your thoughts on their defense?
Texas A&M is good as anybody in the country on defense. So anything's possible, but with the quarterback that they've got, and then the defense that they've got, I expect them to make a run there at the end.
Well, I just want to say, I believe that they're really good on defense, but I think we need to keep our eyes on Vernell Brown III for Florida. He is really emerging as one of the top receivers in the country. The stats don't necessarily support it right now, but the explosive plays support what he can do.
And he's a true freshman, just like Dallas Wilson, right? Who busted out last week with all these SEC freshmen first-year records. Just unbelievable, over 150 yards. And that man is built like an NFL stud already at 18, 19, whatever age he is.
He's a player. He's a player.
Well, I'm still going for Florida.
The linebackers also on the defense. They've got a couple that are on the Butkus and Nagurski list. Tarian York as well as Will Lee the third. So that's going to be a really fun game. That's tonight, right? In Texas A&M, 6 o'clock on ESPN.
Yeah, kickoff's at 6 tonight.
Okay. Well, let's move on to the Alabama game. They're going to Missouri, right?
Missouri looks real good.
They're going to the zoo.
Yeah.
They
I think it'll be a tough game for Alabama. I picked them last week. Of course, that was at home over Vandy. But I think it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge this week with Mizzou.
Man, I honestly believe that it's not. I think that Alabama is playing some of their best football right now. They're playing much better on the defensive side of the ball. Now they have the run game going with Bam being back. I just think Bam the man. We gonna pull it off, and I'm gonna roll Tide.
Missouri, they're facing the highest ranked team that they have had at home since 2010. Of course, that's back when he got a ring playing with Cam at Auburn. Pretty cool. We'll talk about that here in a second. It's going to be interesting, really, because Missouri's had a couple weeks off to get ready for this thing. Alabama's coming off 2 tough weeks of football, right? And so, I don't know. I think Mizzou's going to hang in there.
Cliff, don't forget 2 tough weeks with wins. Make sure we...
That's right.
That's right. Alabama's back. And they may still have the 5 starts backing up the starters in Alabama.
Got some,
yeah. That's true. Should be a good one at Mizzou today. And then the next game up is going to be Georgia at Auburn. Georgia, I don't think Georgia's lost at Auburn in, 10, 15 years? Been a minute.
It's less than 10, but I think it's like 2017 or something like that.
Yeah, they
it's
had the
written
big
down
play
right
at
here
the
somewhere,
end.
I think. But that's going to be huge. Auburn struggling to protect Jackson Arnold big time. I mean, he was sacked, 10 times at Oklahoma?
Yeah.
And, I mean, that goes back now to and Texas A&M, but held them to either 0 or 1-4 on 3rd down conversion. So Auburn has got to figure out a way to protect him. We talked with Brad Law last week when we had Brad Law in, the play-by-play voice of Auburn, and we had him zoomed in here with you guys last week. You can check that. It's up on our Facebook page now, Saturday Morning Sports Blitz. But Brad talked about that very thing, the difficulty to execute.
Yeah, and I think they're getting better. I think they're making some progress. I mean, what are your thoughts on your team?
They're just they're struggling up front, obviously. But, at the same time, they're not committing to run the football. And that makes things really, really hard in the passing game when they know you're not going to try to run it. And the frustrating thing is Auburn's really good on defense.
It's kept them in all the games.
Yeah. And they're good enough to win football games in the SEC. And so they got to figure the run game out. They got to figure out a way to get the ball out of Arnold's hands and then let him be a +1 in the run game. Anytime you can get a quarterback in the run game, it puts a strain on defenses, and so that's going to be big.
And I kind of blanked on what Brad Law said they were going to execute, and that's exactly it. They're trying to figure out how to get him some time as a pocket protection so he can get better at his downfield. But if you go away from it too soon, they know that you're going to be throwing the ball. Even though they've got Singleton and Cam Coleman to get the ball to, they've got to execute that run to set up the pass.
Right.
That's right. What's last? Maybe we'll talk about Florida State, right?
Yeah, Florida State at home this morning, kickoff at 11 against Pitt. So I think Pitt's coming off their 2nd loss in a row. Louisville, and I don't remember off the top of my head who they played last week, but I think that was...
They had a quarterback situation. They had Eli Holstein, the transfer from Alabama, a kid from Zachary, Louisiana, and he'd had trouble with consistency and turnovers. So they brought in another guy who's Heinkel. I'm not sure I pronounced it right, but they were going to hold Eli back because he's a little injured. And as it turned out, last week was a huge win for Pittsburgh. It was a rout. So we think we're going to see the Heinkel guy at Doak Campbell Stadium. That game is 11 o'clock this morning. So we'll get y'all out of here at 10 o'clock so you can finish all of your chores, right? Let's talk a little bit, we got a couple of minutes, about the American Athletic Conference. They are probably going to represent the group of 5 in the college football playoff. Winner coming out of there.
Now, you saying the AAC or the ACC?
No, the AAC. The ACC is going to get one for sure, right? All the Power 4 make sure they get one for sure. You got the SEC and the Big Ten. You got the Pac-12 and the ACC. That Power 4 conferences all get an automatic spot, as well as the group of 5 get a spot that's selected. You got 2 teams that are actually ranked. You got Memphis and South Florida that are in like 22 and 23. Navy could be ranked. Our Chris Cobb is a graduate of Annapolis. They're 5-0. He thought they might be ranked with a win last week. There was a game last night. South Florida. North Texas had a shot at actually running the table. Tulane has a shot of running the table. North Texas went down at home. The Mean Green couldn't get mean enough. South Florida went in there and the Bulls beat them up.
Yeah.
That was last night. And so out of the AAC, it's probably going to be, like I said, Memphis, South Florida, or Navy, or Tulane. And they were off today. Next week they've got a game at Yeoman Stadium in New Orleans.
Yeah.
So we'll take a quick break.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right.
And Sean Kelly is on the phone now. We're waiting. We'll talk to him. That's coming up
Live
next.
from Texas.
Yeah. Right here on the Saturday Morning Sports Blitz. We're coming back.
There is a road laid out for me.
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
Leading down to the river. I am blind, but I need not see.
What do you think?
I know this road is there for me. If I'm really free, take me down to the river and walk.
Saturday Morning Sports Blitz is proudly sponsored by Who Works Sports.
Dear moms and dads, we know it's not always been easy, and it's been a lot of hard work. What you have achieved here today is going to help us and our futures. It is why we are coming up on stage to collect your diplomas.
Everything I do it for you.
Mom, love you all.
No, it's true. Everything I do it for
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you.
Saturday Morning Sports Blitz is proudly sponsored by Damien's Lemonade at the Drop-In.
Welcome back to the Saturday Morning Sports Blitz. I'm Clifford Early with Randy Williams.
Yes, good morning.
And you saw the ad for the drop-in. I know Padilla and Quentin are huge fans of the Damien's Frozen Lemonade.
Well, I mean, who isn't?
At the drop-in. Our phone number again, 850-484-1223. That's 850-484-1223. And you can call for our last segment when we go over our top 25 picks. Right now, we've got somebody on that phone line.
Oh, do we ever? We've got Sean Kelly. He is the voice of the Florida Gators, and actually he is en route now to College Station.
Well, he probably is in College Station, heading to the home of the 12th man and Kyle Field on the campus of A&M.
Sean, welcome and good morning.
Good morning. My apologies for not being on time today. It's been a bit of an issue with the phones here in College Station today.
That's okay. Listen, we knew it going into it when they said, hey, he's traveling. So you just never know with the phone. Listen, we appreciate your time and welcome into the Saturday Morning Sports Blitz. And I want to start off with the win last week at Texas. That was a heck of a game for Florida in the Swamp. I predicted Florida to win that game. I thought it was Texas's biggest challenge. Your thoughts on that game and the feel-good that Florida got last weekend?
Well, there was a feel-good, and I think it's carried over into the preparations for this week's game. And we saw the Gators team last Saturday that I thought I saw during training camp. And that was one of the mysteries of this early season was, what happened to the team that I saw in training camp? Why is it not translating into games? And it finally got to get going there against Texas last week. They dominated the line of scrimmage. DJ Lagway had maybe the best game of his career. If you look at just the pure analytics of it, QBR, completion percentage, multiple touchdown passes, he just finally looked back to normal again after having such an awkward and tough offseason with regard to the injuries and not be able to work and get ready for the season. So you put all those things together and you beat a top 10 team, albeit a top 10 team that now is out of the top 25. That doesn't matter. The Gators needed that win sorely, and now we'll try, as Billy Napier says, to make that a multiplier. Take that game and now stack another one on top of it. The only problem for Florida is all they do is play teams in the top 10, which is, again, the case tonight.
We're joined by Sean Kelly, the voice of the Florida Gators, one of the busiest men in sports. He still works for the four-letter network, ESPN as well, doing all kinds of other sports. And my name's Cliff Early. Sean, thanks for joining us. You've got those two freshman receivers, and Vernell Brown III and Dallas Wilson, and they're just off the charts. They were getting open for your man DJ Lagway last week. How do you see them being able to execute? That defense from Texas A&M is stout. You've got the linebackers that are both on the Butkus Award watch lists, and they're just coming at you from every angle. So how are we going to get those guys open so that Florida can stay in this game and put away the Aggies?
Well, you know, it goes back to that offensive line I just talked about, and they've got to hold up today even more so against this A&M Texas defense because they're legit. I mean, this is a Mike Elko defense, and now he's got his second year with them, and his fingerprints are all over it. They're big, mean, and maybe ugly up front, and especially on the interior. And then they stack good guys on the edges, and they've got experience in that secondary. So they're well put together on all three levels. You know, one of the things that Lagway was successful with last week was getting the ball out of his hand in a hurry, and I think he'll have to do the same here today. He did it in less than 3 seconds on most all of his pass attempts, and then you go back to those two freshman wide receivers that you mentioned, Dallas Wilson, Vernell Brown III. Okay, they're pretty special, and I'm always cautious about heaping praise on freshmen, but it's hard to ignore how productive they've been already. And even in Dallas Wilson's case, one game, right? He makes his Florida debut, and he sets like 3 records last week, including a pair of touchdowns. So it's a fun chess game today to watch Billy Napier go against Mike Elko in that sense on how you get those playmakers the football.
Well, Sean, you mentioned now potential Biletnikoff watch guys, Dallas Wilson and Vernell Brown III. They've got a couple of Biletnikoff watch list guys on the other side of the ball, right? But Florida's defense, they're pretty stout. There's no doubt about that. But you've got stars all over the other side in College Station. A potential Heisman Trophy candidate in Marcel Reed. And on the big list, I think it's the Walter Camp list, or the Maxwell, the running back Le'Veon Moss. So how is the defense of the Gators going to strategize and keep them in check and keep Lagway in the game?
Yeah, you know, it's one of those deals where we watched Marcel Reed kind of have his coming out party at Gainesville last year, and all he's done is just get better and better ever since that A&M win over Florida just a little over a year ago. So he has become a better or more poised passer and can still beat you with his feet. At the same time, though, now he's been more choosy and more seasoned with regard to using his arm, where he's got a guy like Craver on the edge now and more talented receivers. And you mentioned Moss. They also have another running back in Owens that they've got a great 1-2 punch. You know, the difference in talking about Texas A&M's offense with Billy Napier last night was that he felt like Reed's better, yes, but they've done a really good job of putting more around him. So they're more well-rounded offensively. And look, they're leaning on that defense hard, but their offense certainly is much better than it was a year ago, and certainly more than a one-dimensional situation because of what they put around Reed.
Sean Kelly, he is the voice of the Florida Gators, and he joins us here on the Saturday Morning Sports Blitz. Sean, let me ask you this. Last week, you know, my prediction was Florida because of the environment in the swamp. Now, you're going to A&M, where they're the home of the 11th man and the
12th man.
12th man.
It's bonus.
And you're going against a really noisy place. How does that affect the Gators, and are they prepared for it based on what you get when you play in the swamp?
Yeah, no, this team is used to playing in environments like Neyland Stadium and Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge. that the environment is not the problem. But yet again, Napier is 0-13 on the road against ranked opponents so far. So they have to break through that ceiling and get that win against a high-caliber opponent away from the Swamp. They've beaten the ranked teams at home. They've got to put it together on the road. So I don't know if it's the routine on the road. I'd like to think it's who you're playing and less about the building. But that's something they'll have to break through today. But as far as the noise goes or the size of the crowd, that's not something that will be new to the Gators today. They just have to finish off the job as if they were at the Swamp, which it's hard to simulate, right? Everything's different. All the noises flip to the other side of the ball. But it's another big week in the SEC. This is why young men come to play at Florida. It's because they get the chance to play at a place like Kyle Field against a team that's ranked 5th in the country. So if they're not ready to go for that opportunity, then something's not quite right. And I have not sensed that in any way from these guys as they practice this week.
Joined by Sean Kelly, the voice of the Florida Gators. Sean, the Gators are not one-dimensional. The athletic program's not one-dimensional, and it's not just about football. That's another reason why the guys come to Gainesville. Basketball, defending national champions, and Todd Golden, we can get to Todd Golden in just a minute, but you know, he's from the Bruce Pearl tree at Auburn, and Bruce Pearl just stepped down. What are your thoughts on Todd Golden as an up-and-coming star in the coaching ranks, and how does it look for the Gators so far coming into the new basketball season, which starts the 1st of November?
Yeah, tell me about it. It's right around the corner, huh? I mean, their first exhibition game is going to be next weekend, which is crazy. I was just at one of their practices this week, and they're at that point in their training camp where they're ready to play somebody else. So it's crazy that it's sneaking up on us like that. And Todd Golden has now fixed himself as a star in college basketball, you know, as a national championship head coach. And thankfully, Florida has locked him into a contract situation that could have him in Gainesville for quite some time, which is great for me because I think more so than the winning, he is really, really enjoyable to work with. And I love watching his process and the kinds of guys that he brings to our basketball program. And so you get a bunch of those guys back from last year's championship team like Thomas Houck and Alex Condon, Micah Hanlockton, Ruben Chinyelu, and now they're going to roll in some new guards here, right? So Boogie Flan transfers from Arkansas, and he and Xavier Lee, who also transfers in, has this load, right, that they have to now find a way to do without Elijah Martin and Walter Clayton Jr. So it's the story every year in college basketball. You know, who will help fill the gaps of those who have moved on, perhaps even to the NBA, which is certainly the case for a couple of Gators, and Will Richard too. So I think that in a lot of ways Golden has reloaded, and I think they'll be in contention for another Final Four run.
Well, we haven't had a back-to-back national championship since Billy Donovan and the Gators did it back in 07-08. And, of course, the farther Todd Golden goes along, it does strengthen that Bruce Pearl legacy, of course.
No doubt, no doubt. And so I think the situation's good, but as you mentioned, how infrequent we find ourselves with back-to-back national champions. So, you know, Florida, UConn, and then who else, right? The conversation is short-lived for most institutions. So this is not something you just roll these basketballs out here and, Florida's just going to go make another run at it. It'll be very difficult again.
Sean Kelly, the voice of the Florida Gators. Sean, listen, thank you. We appreciate you giving us your time this morning, and good luck today against Texas A&M, and go Gators.
Go Gators. Thanks for having me, guys, and we'll look forward to the next time we get to talk.
Very good. We're coming right back. You're watching the Saturday Morning Sports Blitz.
Duke was the team before the Gators.
Oh, that's right.
Back, yeah.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Everyone deserves to live a full life. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Saturday Morning Sports Blitz is proudly sponsored by Who Works Sports.
My name is Gary Parker. I served as a Cavalry Scout and a military policeman in the United States Army for 20 years. When I was a Cavalry Scout, we had a young lieutenant that came in. Great guy, but he moved on, got promoted to lieutenant colonel, went on to Afghanistan, and I was able to keep in contact. And I'd wake up one morning, go on social media, and there's that post you don't want to see. For whatever reason, he took his own life. Nobody knows why he did it, and if there's something that we could have done to prevent it from happening. Safe gun storage can prevent gun suicide because it's that added step to get to your firearm that might just give somebody a moment of reflection on what they're doing. As a veteran, we need to be ambassadors to people that don't have the knowledge that we have. Anytime you're not storing a weapon safely, you're putting yourself and your community at risk. Service never stops.
Saturday Morning Sports Blitz is proudly sponsored by Damien's Lemonade at the Drop-In.
And welcome back to the Saturday Morning Sports Blitz. I'm Randy. Clifford is here as well, and we're joined this morning by Coach Dante Shepard with Do Work Sports.
Do Work Sports. Check it out on Facebook. It's loaded. Do Work Sports on Facebook.
And, of course, our new friend Vance Smith. He is the head football coach at Pace, having a great season this morning. Again, thank you for your time. We appreciate you joining us this morning. We'll run down the top 25. Cliff, you want to start us?
Sure. Number 1, Ohio State, right? They've got Illinois. That game is the Fox big noon game at 11 o'clock, so we'll get you out of here in just a minute so y'all can finish your chores and get Vance Smith off to where he needs honeydew list. He needs to be. Want to thank his family for letting him join us today. Illinois and the Buckeyes.
That's going to be a great game, I'm telling you.
They fight for a turtle. I don't know if that's got something to do with Cuyahoga River or another waterway.
I have no idea.
But it's the Illabuck. The Illinois and the Buckeyes fight for the Illabuck trophy of this turtle every year. But anyway, on another note, what a game this is going to be. Illinois, who got routed by Indiana. Then turned around with a huge win. They knocked off USC with our Pensacola potential dark horse running back, Wayman Jordan Jr., running back for USC. He's averaging over 100 yards a game, but they couldn't do it in Champaign. And so in Champaign are the Buckeyes and Screaming Gus and Joel Klatt, and it's a huge game. I don't know how Illinois is going to be able to match up. Ohio State has what? One of the best defenses in the country.
They always do, yeah.
Yeah, definitely have one of the best defenses. They are first in red zone, top in sacks right now, and of course they got the Alabama transfer, Caleb Downs. I don't know why.
It makes that defense just sick.
Yeah, and he's probably the best player in the country right now. Don't be surprised if he's a top 5 pick. But I think their defense is going to do a great job, and I'm definitely going with the Buckeyes.
Okay. Me too.
I'm with him. I'm going with the Buckeyes.
Oh, it's Ohio State,
no question.
Yeah.
We mentioned Miami already. And
number 2 team in the country.
And Florida State win last week, and their Havoc defense is nasty. So we'll move on to the next game, and that is Indiana traveling out to Autzen Stadium, right? Out there near Portland.
Number 3 against number 7 team in the country. Should be a great football game.
Curt Cignetti's
Hoosiers, his unbelievable job.
He got him to the CFP last year, right?
Sure did, yeah.
And they're looking, whoever wins this game, they're both undefeated. Whoever wins this game, and it's on Fox at night, I believe. So whoever wins this game, they are really poised for the Big Ten title game, right?
Yeah, that's a tough one to pick.
That's on CBS. I sit corrected.
It's at 2:30 this afternoon.
2:30 on CBS, right?
And so it's going to be a great game. I'm going to go Indiana for the upset.
What?
I don't know. Dante Moore, he's withstood a little backlash for some political stuff that he brought onto the spotlight, and we're not going to talk about it. But he is definitely a Heisman Trophy candidate without a doubt, right?
Yeah.
He transferred from UCLA, and he's solid.
Well, I mean, the Ducks has one of the best offensive lines that money can buy. Coach Vance knows about good offensive lines. I'm just going to say, if you win games like this in the trenches, and I believe that the Ducks have the edge, I'm going with the Ducks.
All right, Coach, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think Dan Lanning's the best coach in college football. One of the great defensive minds, but they do a great job on offense. I think Oregon beats them.
Well, then I guess it's going to come down to Fernando Mendoza getting the ball to his wide receivers for the Hoosiers against that incredible secondary that the Ducks have on the defensive side. I'm going with Oregon.
I'm spelling an upset, so we'll find out.
You're going with Indiana,
Randy?
Absolutely, I'm going with Indiana.
Okay, IU.
Yeah.
I'm going with Oregon.
Oregon.
And I'm going with the Ducks.
All right.
Ducks.
It's
Quack,
three,
quack.
3 versus 1. Quack, quack. Who?
Somebody's going to get punked next week.
Right.
Okay.
Number 4, Ole Miss at Washington State. Ole Miss, of course, going to take that one.
Right, and now in the Grove, Trinidad and Tobago flags are flying for Trinidad Chambliss. It has turned into a real thing in Oxford.
Yeah.
He came out of nowhere, right? Ferris State national champion last year, the same league as UWF, and he came in early in the season, 2 freshmen, and just took over dual threat guy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm definitely going. Go ahead, Coach. Who you got?
It's Ole Miss. I'm excited to watch Ole Miss as the season goes because they're explosive on offense and they'll keep getting better. But yeah, Ole Miss.
Well, if it's a hometown player that plays for a team, I normally go for him. I just ordered my Ladarian Clarity jersey, number 31.
Did you?
So, yes,
I saw that.
Yes, it's online.
Was that on
I
Do
got
Work
it.
Sports?
Yes, I got to get my jersey. So I'm going with Ole Miss. Go Rebels. I think they'll definitely come out with the victory.
Yeah, Washington State's been beat up, and they're going to get beat up again today in Oxford.
Yeah. All right, let's shift back over to the Texas A&M and Florida. They travel out there. I'm going A&M, Coach.
Yeah, A&M at night, College Station. I think Texas A&M beats them.
Dante.
No, I'm definitely going with the Gators. I think us picking up a win versus Texas last week, we'll go right into Texas and knock off Texas A&M.
Well, it's good to hear that you said that. I was going to go with Florida just to be opposite, but since you're going with Florida, I'm going to go with the 12th man.
Okay.
I think A&M is just too strong on both sides of the ball. But we'll have to wait and see tonight, 6 o'clock on ESPN.
It'll be a good one. Yeah, it will be. It'll be a real good one.
I'm the loner.
Number 6, Oklahoma and Texas. Texas coming off that loss, of course, to Florida last weekend. I don't see Oklahoma's a good team. I'm picking them.
A lot of good games at 2:30. And we'll get y'all out of here in just a few minutes so you can finish your chores and be ready for the 11 o'clock kickoff, and Coach Van Smith can get to where he needs to be as well. The Red River Shootout in the Cotton Bowl. Of course, John Mateer was kind of a front runner after the first 3-4 weeks of the season in the Heisman, and then broke a hand. We don't know which hand it was, but it probably was a non-throwing hand. You don't know. But their quarterback came in last week, nearly busted the spread on Kent State when it was over 40. And so I think Oklahoma, I think they've got what they need.
Coach Smith?
Yeah, I think Oklahoma probably wins it, but I think it's going to be close. I think a lot of it depends if the quarterback plays or not. I know there's a guy in the bushes this week looking to see if the quarterback was walking into the facility, but they're really, really good on defense. I think Oklahoma.
Well, I'm definitely going with Arch Manning.
All right.
Yep, I'm going. I believe that the week before he had a good game, had a tough time going to Florida, but I believe that he's going to get it together this week, and I'm going to go with Manning. I'm going to the Saints game tomorrow, too, so I might as well stick with the Mannings.
There you go.
I think I'm going to stay with OU. Now, they're number 1 in the nation on third down. We talked about A&M being good at it, right?
Yeah.
But Oklahoma's number 1 in the nation defending third down. I think the Sooners are going to pull it out.
Next up, number 9, Texas Tech. They are playing Kansas.
Right. Kansas is pretty good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they are.
But Texas Tech, they were definitely one of the winners in the transfer portal with NIL and the DL and the OL are both very, very strong. I don't see Kansas with a shot. They don't have in a sunflower field. They ain't got a shot.
Yeah, Coach.
Well, with it being at Kansas, it's at night, right? 6:30 kick.
That's correct.
So I think Kansas upsets Texas Tech.
Ooh, Dante?
Oh, now I'm definitely going with Texas Tech. Texas Tech normally does a great job on the offensive side of the ball, especially when it's at night, and they're going to have a good game.
They're statistically dominant, and that is the night game on Fox.
Yeah. All right, now we got to talk about
I'm taking Tech, Red Raiders.
Your former school where you won a national championship. It's Georgia at Auburn. It is a 6:30 kickoff tonight What are you thinking, Coach? Can Auburn win this one?
There's, night games at Jordan-Hare are always, something crazy can happen. Coach Saban would always talk about how he thinks it's haunted. And so, crazy things can happen. But if Auburn doesn't figure out how to protect the quarterback, then none of it matters. And they're not able to establish the run against Georgia. Obviously, a Kirby Smart Georgia team, they're going to be physical and be multiple on defense. And so it's going to be tough, but I'm going to pick Auburn.
I'd like to go with Auburn, too. This is the Deep South's oldest rivalry. Going back to 1892, they played every year except for the World War I and World War II thing. But they haven't won in like 8 years, as we've discussed.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So it's been a lopsided
if any
rivalry.
Year could be the year, I think, if Auburn can protect the quarterback, I think Auburn can win it tonight. I'm going with Auburn.
If this is the year that Auburn can protect the quarterback, or the Saturday that they can do it. And they may have been doing it all week in practice, but Saturday's where it's at.
Listen, when that eagle starts flying, it's right before kickoff. Those people are going to be electric in that stadium, and Auburn gets the upset. Dante.
All I heard was if was a fifth. I'm going with Georgia, y'all.
And this is a night game,
It
right?
is, 6:30 kick.
And Brad Law's going to be excited when that eagle flies in. I don't know if they're going to protect the quarterback. I think I'm going to go with the Bulldogs.
All right, number 11
Auburn
LSU
over.
at South Carolina.
I was just thinking about Cam Newton being honored at halftime. of the game today, and of course, and Vance
Hall of Fame, right?
Has the same ring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, when he was
That's
at
awesome.
Florida at the same time. All right, I'm sorry, I distracted you.
It's all good. LSU and South Carolina.
Two
that's a good
preseason
one.
Heisman candidates, right?
Mm-hmm.
LSU struggled on offense.
Right.
Defensively, I mean, they've been solid. I think that one could go either way. With it being at South Carolina, that's obviously a good environment too, a hard place to play. So I'd pick South Carolina with the upset.
Whoa. All right, Dante.
And South Carolina has struggled offensively, though.
Yeah.
So, and
Even
LSU,
with Lenore Sellers.
Yeah, and with LSU being really good on defense, and they always have some dudes, I think I got to go with LSU.
So you think this could be a low-scoring game?
No, I think that midway through, it's going to break open for one or the other.
Clifford, your thoughts?
So the defense of LSU with Meeks at linebacker, Lane Kiffin's one of his favorite people because he's dating his daughter, that Meeks kid. I think the defense for LSU is going to shut down Lenore Sellers. It's going to be a great atmosphere with Metallica blaring in that stadium before it kicks off, and even 90-year-olds jumping up and down. But I think LSU is going to be too
real
strong.
quick, this last SEC game, and we got to wrap, get people out of here. Tennessee welcomes Arkansas. Bobby Petrino's first time back as the head coach at Arkansas. I'm going with Arkansas for the upset, Coach.
Tennessee's really good on offense.
Yeah, I'm going with Tennessee, man. Arkansas is making all those changes right now. They're not going to have it together for Tennessee.
Aguilar's going to get some attention. Joey Aguilar, the quarterback for the Volunteers, he might end up a Heisman candidate after today. I'm going with Tennessee.
Very good. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it right here on the Saturday Morning Sports Blitz. We'll see you next Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Thank you.